We have the Harvester Tower. This is the second event tower that you get by beating hard mode night 3, which you need to be night 2 and night 1 on hard mode. All three need to be on hard mode. If you do an easy mode, you get the Hallow Punk, not the Harvester. It's hard mode because you have to choose your own towers. And obviously, if you're new to the game, you probably won't have the prerequisite towers to beat hard mode. Alternatively, you can buy it for about 800 Robux, sorry. 400 is the Hallow Punk, 800 is the Harvester. So that's just implying hard mode is twice as hard as easy mode. Oh, and also, not to make everyone panic or anything over a speculative thing, the Hallow Punk does not have a skin icon here. The Harvester does. I don't want to say disabled, but is it got prosthetic legs? Jane, go away, I'm in an important business. So the Harvester Tower, it costs 1,400 to place down, so it's not going to be an early game tower. It deals 6 damage at 1.2 fire rate, while its range is 13, quite short. You will realise that the DPS for this is only 4.96 for 1,400. That's not too great. For context, the golden crook boss, which is universally considered probably the best mid-game tower, it costs 800 for 4.41 DPS. The Harvester has 0.5 more, nearly double the price. It shouldn't be like this. But why is that the case? Oh, I have to start the game first. The Harvester actually pierces 2 enemies if it's in range, but it also has the Thorns ability. Now, the Thorns ability is it creates thorns along the path where it deals like a decent amount of damage along the path here. It's a bit like the Trapper, except it doesn't have health, it's just timed. With the thorns at level 0, they deal 2 damage while they have a range of 10 and the duration of the thorns is 10 seconds. Well, you also see that the enemies are slowed down during the thorns for 15%. I think that's a stunning thing, so if an enemy has no stun, they're not slowed down. I think that's how it works. I don't know. Meanwhile, the ability has a cooldown of 40 seconds, but it costs nothing to use it. And because the main DPS for this would be the Thorns ability, it's not included within the DPS. So actually, it's a bit misleading, but we can't really do much about it. Its abilities never usually are involved in the DPS statistic. Meanwhile, for level 1, it costs 650 to get an extra 2 damage, going from 6 to 8, and then going from 13 to 15 range. Meanwhile, the Thorns damage, the Thorns summoning at this level increases from 2 to 4, while the Thorns range, so the length of the Thorns, increases from 10 to 12. This therefore means the Harvester has a DPS of 6.62 at this level, and again, for 2050, that seems quite bad, but do bear in mind, it doesn't include the Thorns ability. Because the Harvester has Pierce, it's probably best to put it on the straights. Something I also failed to mention is it has Flying. With the Harvester as well, even though it can't innately detect hiddens, the Thorns ability can actually damage hiddens, so you're not losing too much, and actually it's quite a good hidden it's quite good hidden defense, because like obviously these thorns can hit multiple enemies. Right, moving on to level 3 now. The Harvester costs 2,000 to upgrade, while its fire rate decreases from 1.2 to 0.85 fire rate. The damage increases from 8 to 10. The max pierce goes from 2 to 3, so that's the amount of enemies it can hit, I think. Yeah, it should be the amount of enemies it can hit. Not saying pierce is weird. It can hit 3 enemies, while the Thorns ability has been upgraded so that it deals 6 damage instead of 4. It lasts 10 seconds instead of 8, and it slows down enemies 20% instead of 15%. I think it's able to do that. So how good is this on... See, I would have assumed it would be good with the breakers. Maybe it is, and I'm just using it wrong. Yeah, you can extend it out of the range of the... Wait, you can extend it anywhere? Hold on. Oh, it goes anywhere. That's cool. Anywhere on the path, eh? Very cool. Okay. Well, then you need to be in range of the Harvester. So if an enemy just so happens to get this pass, you can just summon some thorns out of nowhere. A bit like a unit. Meanwhile, for level 3... Yeah, it says here that the amount of pierce increases from 2 to 3 at level 2. But actually, is that level 3? Is it? Is that level 2? Or was that a glitch? Okay, I think it's a glitch saying max pierce here. It actually gets at the previous level, but that's odd. So anyways, at this level, the damage from the Harvester itself increases from 10 to 20. Meanwhile, the Thorns ability increases range from 12 to 16, so that's the length of the Thorns, and its damage increases from 6 to 12. Yeah, sounds like the Trapper as well. Interestingly, this does have a placement limit of 4, so you can only have 4 of these active at the same time. Meanwhile, for level 4, moving on to that, at level 2, the DPS of the Harvester is 11.65, which seems quite bad. Again, doesn't include the Thorns, but at level 3, the DPS is 23.31 for 9,000. Again, doesn't sound too great, but the Thorns is where it gets most of its DPS from, but also the pierce of the crossbow. Meanwhile, at level 4, the range of the Harvester increases from 15 to 17.5, the fire rate decreases from 0.85 to 0.75, and the damage increases from 20 to 30. And it also still says max pierce 2 to 3 when it's already had that from level 2. Why does it keep saying that? But at this level also, the Thorns increases their tick damage from 12 to 20. The range increases from 16 to 18, the length of the Thorns. The duration of the Thorns increases from 10 to 16, and the slowness increases from 20 to 25. I mean, it was barely affected, I can't lie. And the Harvester still doesn't get hidden detection at this level, and we probably see in the future, it doesn't get hidden detection at any level. To be fair though, against the Moltons, this is quite good. It's a pretty good spawn dealer. So like these enemies that spawn from like the Necromancer, they're dealt really well. So you know, the Harvester are quite good spawn limiting. So I'd assume this is the level that's pretty good against breakers. As for its DPS is now 39.57. 17,000, that doesn't sound too great, but again, Thorns plus Pierce, I think it's fine. Probably not the best. It's probably the thing with event towers being like the mid-game, end-game range, they're not normally the best. In fact, event towers generally are never normally the best in their category, in their niche. They just have a gimmick, and the gimmick for the Harvester is Thorns. And yeah, I guess I assume the Commander can buff the Harvester, but since most of it comes from Thorns, it's not that useful. You know what? It deals with hidden bosses quite well, even though it can't even detect them. Actually, it's a good support tower, while also dealing with a decent amount of DPS, especially if the enemies are slightly weaker than, I don't know. I think it deals quite well with the slow boss. Yeah, like the shocks decimated, and the speedy boss as well. It's actually quite decent considering there's only 4 of them. It's just quite good. Right, then we have level 5, the last level, the Reaper level, 20,000. Its fire rate increases from 0.75 to 1.5, so it doubles. The range, meanwhile, increases from 17.5 to 22.5, while the damage is tripled from 30 to 90. And here, the max PS actually does increase from 3 to 4. Meanwhile, the Thorns itself, their damage per tick increases from 20 to 30. Its range increases from 18 to 20, and its slowness increases from 25 to 30. Actually, this might be the best breaker tower. I can't lie. How well it did against those breakers. Oh my god. So this might have the unique ability of being the best breaker, the best tower to use against the breaker, but not necessarily against hordes. Actually, it'd probably do well against hordes, but there'd probably be, like, explosion towers are probably better, like the mortar's probably better. But still though, Thorns, it's quite good. It's quite a good ability actually, considering, like I said, there's only 4 of them. Only 4. And like, yes, the commander probably does boost the fire rate of the Harvester, and assume that the DJ boost increases the damage of the Harvester, but not necessarily the Thorns ability. And you can actually use the Thorns ability while in FPS mode, which is highly unusual because you can't use it in. You can't use the airdrop ability while in FPS mode. So what do I think of the Reaper, the Harvester? It's a tower that exists. It's not the worst tower. It probably isn't the best tower. I'm pretty sure people will find a way to actually use it for good. It's a fun tower to use. I agree with most people when they say it's a fun tower to use, but I don't see it being the meta. But then again, most event towers are never the meta anyway, just because of the nature of an event tower. That you can't really be the best otherwise. People will complain otherwise. that it is quite a good tower, considering it's an event tower. Now the million-dollar question is, does it slow down the Molten Boss? I don't think it does. I don't think it actually does slow down the Molten Boss. I might be wrong though. Still, it does deal with the spawn. The spawns never came out. Yeah, I don't think it slows down major bosses. Oh, and I forgot, the DPS for the max level Harvester is 60. Oh, and the skin, yeah, there's a Dark Harvester skin quest. I forgot. I'll need to do that real quick. Oh, and also, it's been suggested that the Harvester is really well against farms because it can use its Thorn abilities to create paths next to the farms that are in range of the Harvester, greatly increasing efficiency and DPS. Wait, hold on. Does that mean if you place the farm next to the Harvester, you get... Ooh, hold on. If this is true, then all of a sudden, the farm's buff of 3 to 5 actually makes sense. I thought I was making a joke. Actually, it does seem like there was reasoning behind the madness. Hold on, I need to check this. So, farm here, Harvester right next to it, and then if you use the ability, does it create more thorns beside it? Oh, it does. It does. You saw the thorns that moved away early. No, it does. It does. Oh wow. This is the first symbiotic relationship between, well, is it symbiotic or is it parasitic? Let's call it symbiotic for now. It's the first symbiotic relationship between towers, it appears. That's not, it's specifically symbiotic, not the synergistic relationship that, say, the commander has with all the other towers. No, this is the first symbiotic relationship between two towers. But wow, that's cool. I assume it doesn't increase with... Yeah, I don't think it increases with the level of the farm, but it does appear to increase if there's farms in the range of the Harvester. More thorns are actually created. Yeah, look at these thorns that are created. They don't even need to be in range of wherever these thorns are. Pause. So if I were to create thorns here with this guy and place it over here to deal with this boss here, then yeah, the thorns here in range of the Harvester creates additional thorns. This is the first time when placing the farm right next to the path actually makes sense. I'm impressed, genuinely. There's such a quirk and such a niche tower that is quite fun to use, actually. So actually, I take back everything I said. It might not be the best tower in the game, and it might never be the better, but it's a very, very fun tower to use.